Government launches media training program. Schools may stay open during July-August break. EPI says EIA needed for Uraru offshore development. And why press freedom is pointless in Guyana. I am Noriko Bulford, and this is Uncut News. Do you see news happening? Send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. On World Press Freedom Day, the government officially launched the long-promised Guyana Media and Communications Academy. Despite all the hype, apparently all they're doing is just giving journalists access to classes on the online learning platform Coursera and just slapping a nice name on the certificates. They said they are doing this because they recognize the need for media workers to be properly trained in news gathering and reporting. GPA President Nazima Ragupia also spoke on training. She reported that the GPA has collaborated with a number of agencies, including state entities and foreign missions, to provide training to said journalists. However, she said the GPA does not support the idea of the Guyana Media and Communication Academy as a standalone entity. Instead, she proposed that the resources be put into further strengthening the University of Guyana's Center for Communication Studies. This is honestly the more sensible move if you ask me. Why make an outside company rich when we could be paying for proper equipment and classes for the actual place where journalists should be trained, which is, of course, the university. On a related note, the GPA warned journalists to guard against spyware on their devices while demanding that the president ensures that the government never use spyware such as CSO's Pegasus to spy on journalists. The president, in his address to the media, responded by saying that his government wouldn't even imagine doing such a thing, and he doesn't even want people to suggest that it could happen under his government, which honestly makes me feel like they probably are spying on people, or they're thinking about it, as it wouldn't be the first time the PPP has purchased equipment to spy on private citizens. Anyway, he also mentioned the cybercrime bill, and by mention, I mean he blamed APNU for it, and then promised that they would never abuse the right of the media. But he didn't mention that the police are allowed to break into your house, confiscate all your electronics, read through your private information, extort you for millions of dollars, and throw you in a jail cell because you hurt someone's feelings on TikTok. Just saying. While corruption runs rampant in Guyana, it looks like you have to add the Judiciary to the list of people conspiring to rob you. Magisterial districts across Guyana continue to rake in millions of dollars in revenue from fines and unclaimed bail. The latest report on these figures, released earlier in April, but it examined the year 2018, the Georgetown Magisterial Court District collected a total of $37.5 million in fines and $5.3 million as revenue from unclaimed bail in 2018. With a specific emphasis on traffic ticket payments, some 8,493 tickets were filed in Georgetown, of which 1,490 were paid. That amounted to $10.1 million in 2018. The data shows that 6,871 of the tickets had to be sent to court and 5,364 were disposed of. This trend repeated itself in other districts in 2018, but there are no figures available publicly for the period of 2019 to 2021, as those reports are yet to be released. Now, I'd like to see them compare those figures to how much was paid in bribes to avoid going to court in the first place. Now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's car of the day. Currently on sale is this 2016 Toyota Axio. It comes with Bluetooth, mug rims, new tires, TV, CD, stereo, fog lamps, electronic parking brake, bar camera, and much, much more. Buy cars for $3.5 million. All pay down as low as $700,000 down with around $68,000 monthly for 5 years, and it's yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info. Or visit the showrooms at Lot 171 Bilero Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street, and tell them you can send you for this sweet deal. The Education Ministry is considering the possibility of keeping schools open during the upcoming July-August break to counter learning losses. This month's complete reopening comes more than 2 years after the pandemic struck. Previously, some classes were facilitated in classrooms while others remained online. However, the Education Minister made it clear that this would depend on the availability of the teachers and the amount of learning loss needing to be recovered. Police in Region 9 say they have uncovered a drug ring in at least 2 schools, leading to the arrest of the adults suspected of giving the minors the narcotics to sell. During a recent police outreach in the Karasarabai district, a teacher told the force of a teen boy being accosted with drugs while at school. The boy led officers to the adult, who was promptly arrested. They also arrested an unspecified number of adults who were supplying narcotics to students to sell at Anai Secondary School. One man is now dead and another is in critical condition after their car was hit by a drunk driver in an early morning accident over the weekend. 27-year-old Ian McDucky is now dead, while his friend 31-year-old Sheikh Bash is now hospitalized. The accident occurred at the intersection of Sandy Bab Street and Engine Road near Camp Ayangana. Police say that they reached the intersection and their car was then struck by a drunk driver who ran through the red light. Both vehicles were damaged extensively. Megdeki subsequently died whilst receiving medical treatment at the hospital. Bash is recovering from a broken left arm, a laceration to the head, and a punctured lung. His condition is listed as critical. Meanwhile, the driver of the Jeep that ran the light is currently in police custody. It's a shame. The victims of drunk drivers are almost never themselves. Do you own a truck? No, not the disease, I mean a real truck, like DAF, International, Freightliner, Bedford TM, or Scammell. Then, come get high-quality truck parts at the lowest prices at Powered Automotive. Visit them at Lot 1161 EE Eccles, or call them on telephone number 697-0171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. Now for today's oil update. On Monday, the EPA said that Exxon's proposed Uaru well development will require an impact study. Less than a month after receiving the application for a fifth oil project, the EPA said that an environmental impact assessment was necessary and also simultaneously published a summary of the project, which I presume you can check out on their website. Members of the public now have 28 days from yesterday to make written submissions to the agency, setting out those questions and matters which they require to be answered or considered in the EIA. So that means you got 27 days, or at least less than 27 days as of now, to read through the several thousand-page document before it will most likely be approved without a hitch. In other oil news, according to Jagdio, a new company will start the audit of the post-2017 cost oil incurred by ExxonMobil in the Stabroek block in the coming weeks. He explained that the government had some disagreement over expenditure in the audit up to 2017. According to him, a process is ongoing that will seek to resolve those disagreements. But in the meantime, the post-2017 audit will move forward. 4 international audit firms and 1 local firm had submitted bids for the project. Bayface Limited, Rosa Carrera and Associates in partnership with Swale House Partners, Squire Pat, Gaffney Klein and Associates Incorporated, and Calendar Law Firm, while the local company was Elixir Financial and Professional Services. Take a look at this beauty being constructed in a gated community called Richmondville in Guyana. It features 4 bedrooms, 1 pool with 7,000 square feet of living space, along with modern amenities. Contact Sheriff Construction on 592-618-5702. Now for our super news of the day. Today is World Press Freedom Day, the day when governments around the world pretend to actually give a damn about the media and freedom of speech. Because we don't have many outward displays of media suppression in Guyana, we like to believe that Guyana has a degree of press freedom. However, I will argue that press freedom in Guyana is pointless, because we have an apathetic population. Now, people like to blame the media for not doing enough, and I agree. The media in Guyana does have to do a better job at holding power to account. But we have to remember 2 things. 1, the station owners are the main ones to blame for the quality of reporting because they actually do the hiring and the firing. And 2, all things considered, the media actually has been doing a pretty good job at exposing crime and corruption in Guyana. More specifically, Kaiecha and Stabroek News. They have and continue to report on crime and corruption involving all levels of government and business. They were even doing this at the height of the crime wave and were even being threatened by even the Attorney General himself. Now, a few people protested, but throughout the whole crime wave, most people were silent about the cooperative kleptocracy of Guyana. Then you have to remember that it has been over 16 years, and Ronald Waddell's killers have yet to be brought to justice despite court testimony and numerous news articles saying who actually ordered the murder. And what did the public do? Absolutely nothing. Now, whether their silence is due to fear, support, or indifference doesn't matter to me. The mental scar is deep enough that many journalists today would rather self-censor than put themselves at risk, especially when you consider just how vindictive this nation's elite can be. So that's why I say, what good is press freedom if people are just going to sit in silence and watch you get persecuted for telling them the truth about their politicians and their criminal friends? So, abuse the press all you want, but remember, press freedom is essential to democracy. But it's pointless if you, the people, do not act on the truth. Now for our Uncut News Views Poll Question of the Day. Every day we pose a question about current events in Guyana, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. Here's what you all had to say on Friday. RC View Farm says, finally Guyana calls the Brits out. The slave masters were paid handsomely, and the slaves were left with nothing but old buildings and dirt roads. It's time they pay up. Reparations now. Indeed. In fact, many people forget that the British Crown borrowed £20 million from the Rothschild family in order to compensate those slave masters for losing their slaves upon emancipation, a bill that British taxpayers actually had to pay back all the way until 2015. Riley Guru Charan says, so ironic that Burnham Hoyt Granger et al. Did not have the courage to call on the Brits for an apology. Our courageous leader Irfan Ali looked to Boris in the UKI and called for an apology. And also, Adi Beck says, after them realize that the oil money and its related profits have little reach to the average Guyanese, y'all want to jump on the reparation bandwagon? Give me a break. Why Guyanese politicians keep lacking ingenuity and originality? Wow, that is a very cynical way to look at it, but I really never thought of it that way. Now, before we get to tonight's question, you can multiply your cash by selling digital top-up. This is a legit way to smash money at your business or to supplement your current hustle. Become a top-up vendor quick and easy by linking with Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info. Now for tonight's question. I want to know, how do you feel about the state of the media in Guyana? Do you feel that it actually has hope, or are things just going to get worse as there's more oil money coming in? I want you to think about that question. Tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying good night, folks.